This is a self-fringing pattern for my scarf. You would use a ribbon yarn that's roughly 1/2 inch wide. You would cast on 16 stitches. You want to leave a tail of about 6 or 8 inches, which will be used as part of your finished work. This way you don't have to weave it in. So you start by casting on 16 stitches. You use a size 17 needle. That gives you a nice large stitch. It goes a lot faster. What do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And here we have our tail. It's not quite long enough, but when you do it, you want to make sure your tail is at least 4 to 5 inches long. It's all done in knit. There's no purling, so this is what makes it easy. You start with a knit 3. When you make it, you don't do the fringe. The fringe is done after the whole project has been knitted. I'll show you that part when we get to it. So you start with a knit 3. Knit 2 together. This locks the stitch so your fringe won't unravel when you get to it. Since we lost a stitch with the knit 2 together, we want to make one by doing a knit in the front and the back of the same stitch. That gives us the increase we need. Knit 4 through the middle. Now if you lose count and you think you've done 4, look at the stitches on your left hand needle. If you have 6 stitches left, then you are right on target. Don't worry if the yarn starts to twist up a little bit. A little bit of twisting doesn't hurt. But if it starts to get a lot of twisting, there is a little trick you can do to help untwist it. So we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means I have one more knit stitch to do. Then we do an increase. Knit in the front and back of the same stitch. Knit 2 together. That's our locking stitch. I'll show you how that works later. Knit your last 3 stitches. Now this is the entire pattern for the actual piece. Every roll is exactly the same. Now I'll show you quickly. If it starts to twist a lot, if you slide your work to the end of your needle, find out which direction it's twisting, like in this case it's twisting this direction. You want to hold your needle up and twist like this, and that will cause an opposite direction twist, which will cause the ribbon to untangle. Then you can continue on again. You can do this whether your piece is 2 inches long, 6 inches long, 3 feet long. It doesn't matter, but it's a great way to untwist it without having to manually do it. So your next row is the same again. Knit 3, knit 2 together. Sometimes you will split your stitch. You just kind of have to figure it out. Like in this case, I'm going to have to redo the whole thing. Put that stitch back on your needle. Knit the 2 together. Try to knit loose. That makes a big difference too. Knitting loose gives you a little bit more play because there's really not any stretch in these ribbon yarns. This is a knit in the front and back of the same stitch. Now we're going to knit 4. Now, if for some reason you happen to wind up with an extra stitch, which happens once in a while, just knit 2 together in the middle somewhere, and that will take up the stitch you have too many of. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, that's, I think, what's happening here, because I've got my knit 3, knit 2 together, increase, then I have my 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, since I've got this extra stitch, I'll just knit 2 together at this point. You'll never see it. Okay, so now I've got my 2, 4, 6, which I'm supposed to have, so do my increase, knit in the front and back, knit 2 together, and then knit the last 3. Now if somehow you might wind up losing a stitch, do an increase in the middle, and then you'll get your stitch back. The whole thing is done just with those 2, that one row, just the knit 3. I'll do one more, then I'll show you how to finish it off. So we knit 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 2 together, increase by knitting in the front and back of the same stitch, knit 4 in the middle. So as you see, it's all knit. 2, 3, 4, and if I have 6 stitches left, I'm on target. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which I am. Now we're going to do an increase in the knit in the front, in the back, knit 2 together, knit 3. Now after you've completely knitted the entire ball, you'll have a piece that looks like this. It's just one big gigantic, looks like a knitted scarf. You want to leave at least 4 feet of ribbon left to do your final bind off row. To start with, you knit 3. The reason for that is these stitches are all going to be untangled after we complete the project. So we knit 3. Now we're going to bind off the center 9. Now these original 3 is not part of the bind off, so forget them. Pretend like we're starting again. So now we're going to bind off 9. And you don't want to do it too tight. You want to keep it loose if you can. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, these 3 are being left. 6, 7, 8, and 9. And you definitely want to finish this off. Same with it as before, you want to make sure you have a little bit of a tail, because this tail is going to be incorporated into the fringe instead of weaving it into your work. So you tighten it up. Now you got 3 unworked stitches on either side. At this point you slide these off. Now for the fun part. Always start with the same top edge where your bind off is. If you try to start on the other edge, it won't work. So you want to grab in the middle and pull those 3 stitches out. And you go to the next one. Pull the 3 stitches out. And repeat this all the way down your work. Try not to do more than the 3. The knit 2 together helps to some degree to keep you from unraveling too many. So we got a little bit of a tangle going here. Have to figure out what that is. But after you've gone down this side, you do the same on this side. You untangle 1, 2, 3, 4. Just keep going all the way down, only doing the 3 outside ones. You can make it wider if you want a wider one, just by getting more yarn. One ball usually does 1 scarf. If you want to make it longer, you need a second ball. Now after you've untangled the entire bunch and you've got all your ruffles, give this a little tug like this, and that's going to add extra length to your scarf.